Defensive Player of the Year, Aaron Donald.
Hello, Aaron.
He absolutely engulfed Kirk Cousins. And he is sacked. Aaron Donald.
Oh, my goodness.
Retreating at the 40. He is covered by Aaron Donald. Knee-high snap. Donald gets there immediately. Sacked at the 15.
Kyle Brandt called it. Time to talk the top 100 players of 2019, presented by the Amazon original series The Boys. Last night, it was revealed. The last 10 players, the top 10 players on the list for this year. So let's break out the Microsoft Surfaces here for a little just right, too high, or too low.
Right.
I'm going to name one of these players on this top 10 list, and you guys tell me which category he falls into. And I want to start with the league MVP, Patrick Mahomes. He was ranked 4th on this list. Too low, too high, just right, Triggs.
He was the best player in all of football. He was the best quarterback in football. He was saving his best for the biggest games. And I think he transformed the face of a franchise that has been beleaguered with, shortcomings in the playoffs. He should have been the number one guy. I think I disagree with the players. They have their voice. I have mine. I think I align with the voters of the MVP and the NFL Offensive Player of the Year award. Went with this one. Mahomes, you were robbed last night. Outraged by this outcome, Kay.
Yeah, just like that AFC Championship game where he was robbed in the overtime against the Patriots, I feel like he was robbed right here. I'm going too low as well. I feel like he was number one overall. He was dominant week by week. We're talking multiple touchdowns. All I got to say is the number 50. 50. It doesn't happen often, so I'm saying too low.
What do you got, Goldilocks?
I'm going too high. He had an incredible season. He had the best season. He's not the best player in the league. I mean, guys, it'd be very easy to just, every year we do this list, the MVP is just the number one. That's not what it is. And I love Mahomes. I'm invested in Mahomes. But, guys, you're telling me right now he's definitely a better football player than Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers? No. This is just fine. He has one season as a starter. He's in the top 10. I think it was a little rich. We'll see it. See if he can do it again.
Okay.
You're saying it's hard to put him there after one great season. You want to see a couple more under his belt. Kind of like Saquon Barkley got robbed a little bit.
He had a fantastic season. He'll probably have another one. But when he does, we'll get him a little higher.
How about the guy that was a little bit higher at number 2, the league's all-time leading passer, Drew Brees? 2 out of 100, 6 spots higher than his ranking in 2018. He was ranked 8th that year. So, Drew Brees, Nate, too low, too high, or just right?
I feel like it was just right. Even though there was a trail off towards the end of the season, statistically, I feel like what he did during the year, the efficiency he had with Michael Thomas, it's just like Lee said, Goldilocks, porridge of the Bears, it's just right.
Okay, yeah, be quick with that. I feel like I'm with that. I said yesterday I thought he'd be 3rd behind Donald and Mahomes, so I think 2nd's fine. He was the 2nd best quarterback in the league, led the Saints at an incredible start. If it had finished differently, he'd be number 1 on this list. I think number 2 is just fine.
Well, we're starting our 4th year. We're all on the same
I love
page.
it.
And I'm just very pleased to see he was up there so high, just so we can stop hearing how underrated Drew Brees is. It's one of my pet peeves that people say he doesn't get respect. He gets a lot of respect. And being this high on the list is incredible. They nailed it. Good job,
His
guys.
completion percentage was like 75% last year. He was on a roll. So I'm going to agree with you guys. Just right at number 2. How about Julio Jones? Nate. He was once again dominant, right? 6-time Pro Bowl receiver, led the NFL receiving yards with over 1,600. Yeah. He's ranked 9 out of 100 behind all of these guys you're looking at right here. Was Julio Jones ranked too low, too high, or just right?
I'm going to say just right. I feel like with Julio Jones, the numbers are going to be there every single season, but for the simple fact that, he doesn't have the amount of touchdowns that a lot of receivers have. He's not good enough to propel his team to the NFC Championship game, so you can't say that he had that much of an impact on the outcome of their season. So I'll say just right.
All the players ahead of him, with the exception of Rodgers, who's a transcendent quarterback, were on winning teams. And, Julio, as good as he was he better than DeAndre Hopkins, who came in at number 11? I don't know. Was he better than Michael Thomas, who was on a team that went to the NFC Championship game and caught every ball that was thrown to him? I'm going to say too high. I don't think any of the wide receivers in the NFL deserved last year to be number 1 in the top 10. None of them led their team to anywhere the promised land. The quarterback is usually the team that does. So Julio, great player. Was he last year worthy of the 9 overall pick? I don't remember at any point us talking MVP for Julio Jones last year. I say too high.
Okay, I'm going to go too low based on his slotting behind Antonio Brown. this is voted on in the middle of the season, and I look at a wide receiver, you want the most dependable person. And let me just scream in a cloud right now, because if you pull up Antonio Brown's stats against the Bengals week 17, there's no catches, no yards, and no touchdowns because he's sitting there in a fur coat. Julio's playing. I think he's better than Antonio and more dependable.
I'll say too high just because DeAndre Hopkins should be number one on that list. Great points made by everyone, but now let's talk about the GOAT. The GOAT was ranked number one, of course. No, he was ranked number 6, Tom Brady. Is that, Kyle, too low, just right, too high for the greatest quarterback of all time?
Just right. Okay, we're going to do a list of top 100 players ever, and you can have him and Montana and Rice and Walter Payton, and then he could be number one. But in this rate, it's a current thing. It is right now the best player. And the best player is the guy who made one big throw in the entire Super Bowl. No, Tom Brady is fantastic, but there's other players who are better than him. There are none greater than him, if that makes sense. God willing.
Well said.
Yeah, at first I was thinking Cheech and Chong, and I was going to go too high, but then I started thinking about the efficiency in which he played.
Nice.
So I'm going to go with too low. I mean, forget about the numbers statistically. I mean, if you want to make the argument that Pat Mahomes had a better season of production and Andrew Luck had the 37 touchdowns, and you keep going with production, that's fine. But when it comes to playing big in big moments, I would say too low. When you get your team to the Super Bowl, that means you're the most clutch player. And if you're one of the most clutch players, it means you're basically more respected than most guys in the NFL.
Yeah, and I think when they needed him most, Brady was there, right? I mean, you think about that Thursday night game against the Chiefs. He outdid Mahomes in New England. Then you think about the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs. It was Brady outplaying Mahomes when they needed him most. So I'd say too low. I don't think, as long as he's living on this earth, Tom Brady should never be outside the top 5.
I agree.
Right? Like, even if he's 53 years old and playing for the Cincinnati Bengals at some point and still throwing 10 touchdowns, he's still going to be top 5 because the players respect him that much. He's the GOAT. I'm going to say too low. Khalil Mack came in at number 3, defensive player. Bears got to the divisional round and lost the playoff game. I don't know what he did that Brady didn't do. I'm going to say Brady should have been top 3, maybe at very least top 5.
Him being 3 at his position on this list bothers me because he did beat Mahomes. So I'm thinking, to me, best player to me is the greatest player. So I feel like the fact that he's gotten his team to the Super Bowl 4 of the past 5 years, he shouldn't be 3rd at his position on this list. That just seems a little. I love Drew Brees, and I would put Brady over Brees and Mahomes.
How about some respect? Some respect for the king, for Aaron Donald. I just want to point out one thing.
Go for it.
The most fun part of watching these specials is not the highlights; it's the other players gushing about him.
Right.
The Aaron Donald stuff, they go nuts. And the best guy was Kyle Williams, the former defensive tackle for the Bills. He goes, "I just want to talk to the young people out there. Don't watch Aaron Donald's film. Don't try to learn from him because you can't do what he does. It's the worst idea. Just be your best self because you're never going to be Aaron Donald." So that was brilliant. Don't watch his tape.
It was really good with the Julio stuff. They had Luke Kuechly talking about it, and Luke Kuechly's been posterized by Julio Jones so many times, and he goes play by play, and they're showing plays to Luke Kuechly where Julio is grabbing the ball over the, and he's got to watch him, and he's wincing, but he's like, no one else does this. You can't. He's a matchup nightmare. The respect that these other players have for each other is the coolest part of the top 100. Yeah. So the list is one thing. If you can watch the actual videos that they do, it's fantastic stuff.
Another guy that we didn't mention, Todd Gurley. How about Todd Gurley after this whole offseason, people talking about that knee and putting one foot in the casket, saying he's not going to be the same type of player coming back this season, yet he lands at number 5. So that shows you right there, even with him being on that bike in the postseason, how the other guys in the NFL view him.
21 touchdowns will do that for your voting and where your placement is on that top 100 list, which we've enjoyed so much here on the show. Give us your thoughts at GMFB as we welcome in Will Silva to the show. He's the newsroom in Culver City. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Well, I can't imagine my life without you guys. Don't even remember what my life was like before this program. So here's to another 3 years to all of you. Love the wake-up
Probably
call.
didn't have any bags under your eyes back then.
No.
We do.
I know. But think about it. It's just like we didn't use Microsoft Surfaces. Right? Now we have them. Mahomes was at Texas Tech. A lot has changed in 3 years, my friends. A lot has changed.
We were talking a lot of Trevor Siemian, guys. A lot. Siemian taking the Broncos back.
Trevor Siemian. Whose job is it?
I'm a Paxton Lynch guy, Peter. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Throwback. We have to do a throwback show.
Big arm.
Well done. All right, well, let's start in New England. The Patriots know you can't obviously replace Rob Gronkowski, but they still need somebody at tight end. They signed Austin Seferian-Jenkins only to release him. Ben Watson came out of retirement only to see him suspended for PED use. There's a slew of others competing for the job, and Tom Brady knows someone will emerge to fill the void left by Gronk, but it won't be easy.
He's a great player, and to replace great players, it's not like you just pick another one off the tight end tree, You can't just go out the back. You got to find guys that come in and want to put the work in, want to try to contribute, and you know, between the guys we have out here now, which is Ben and Matt, Steven, Ryan Izzo, Lance, who, you know, we just got. I mean, those guys are trying to do everything they can do. So they're all new players, so we got to figure out how to get them used up to speed to what, you know, what our expectations are, the level of competition on a daily basis.
Well, Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins has what Brady probably wants, a pair of 1,000-yard receivers. Cousins with the good fortune of having Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen in his huddle. Thielen telling our James Jones that having Cousins for Season 2 will only improve the chemistry with the receiving corps.
Yeah, I don't think people realize, obviously you do, how much work it takes and how long it takes to get on the same page with a quarterback. I mean, you can't just expect to be on the same page after one, you know, off season together, one training camp together, or even one season together. So it's great to be going into year 2. I feel like he really understands what we're good at. He understands what routes we're going to really excel at and really when to count on us. So it's definitely been a lot different this camp compared to last.
Well, there's our guy, James Jones. And, hey, how about our man, Tom Pelissero? He was out there at Vikings camp yesterday as well, showing off his skills, running the obstacle course. Ooh, could probably use some pointers from Thielen Diggs on the pass-catching skills. But, hey, more adept at the kicking game, splitting the uprights on the field goal attempt. Well done, Tom. Well done there, my friend. Yeah, he's getting it done. And that's why I think we definitely need a Burr lesson specifically for Tom Pelissero. Nate, can you hook this man up? He's our colleague. You got to do it.
You ask,